For the first 16 years of my life, I did not own a phone, and consequently, I did not own and still do not use social media. Now, where some people may see this as rather extreme, I think that there is no use for high schoolers to have phones, cell phone, other than to call parents. Everything else is unnecessary. Think about it. If you need to do homework, you can use a computer. And if you want to talk with friends, just do it face to face. Well, before we get into it, I would like to define some terms. When I say social media, at least in the context of this presentation, I am talking about platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. And when I talk about being online or on the internet, I'm talking about about social media as well as sites like Netflix, YouTube. Phones are a distraction, and they are a distraction that you carry along with you in your pocket. You know, your brains are hardwired so that when you hear the pings and buzzings of phones, you need to check that out. And while this distraction doesn't seem like much, what you're doing is you're creating and you're continuing an unhealthy habit each time you do it. Think of it this way. Imagine you're doing homework and you're in the zone. Right? Suddenly your phone goes off. It takes 2 seconds to go and check it out. But by the time you're done, you realize that how hungry you are and you need to go get something to eat. All right, finally, you're going to get back to doing that project, but by the time you do, you don't remember where you are. You have trouble getting back into that feeling of doing work again, and it's going to be, that distraction just costs you a lot of time. Now, let's analyze this a bit further, because phones are only the medium by which you are getting distracted. What's behind all these notifications and updates are the social media companies trying to get your attention, trying to bring you back to mindlessly browsing through your feed. So I've asked friends, what is so great about social media? And they've told me it's great at connecting you with friends, especially people who are far away. But is it the best way to connect with your friends? I mean, if you want to know what's new in your friend's life, do you look at the last thing they posted? No, you go talk to them face to face. Even a phone call works better if they're far away. And well, they'd say back to me sometimes, well, what if you just want to ask someone what's for homework? You know, you don't need a phone call to do something like that. And I say, well, that's true, but you don't spend 2 hours a day asking little questions like that. The thing is, you know that when you're on social media, that time is not productive time. Right? According to a survey done at Nido, 20% of people spend more than 5 hours on social media, with 15% of people spending less than 1 hour, and the rest falling in between. And this time is not productive time. 85% of teens nowadays are losing sleep. And I think this is because of the internet. 60% of people say that when they're online, time flies. And this is results from a survey done first semester at Nido. 381 people answered it. 60% of people say that while they're online, time flies. 50% say that they have put aside homework because of it. And another 50% say that they've lost sleep to it because of it. Another thing is 65% of people 35 and under check their phones before going to bed. Now, this is a bad habit because there's been studies that say screen is harmful to your eyes, to your brain, and makes it harder to fall asleep. And these are not habits that you want to have. I think people are aware of the time that they spend online. According to the same survey, 50% of people say that they spend more time online than they should. And they also say that the biggest risk they think they're exposed to on the internet is that of losing time. If they felt they spent too much time online, they would not ask for help. See, the thing is, I don't think people understand the dangers of spending too much time online. It doesn't feel like there are any consequences. And so it's hard to get yourself to stop. The thing is, when you overuse social media like this, and what you're doing is you're seeking the rush of dopamine you get each time you get positive feedback on platforms by getting, say, likes or friend requests. And scientists have linked getting that positive feedback to the reward system in your brain. It activates it, and for the more avid social media users, it brings you back it makes you want more, and it creates a little dependency on it. You want to see, you needed to see if you got more likes and stuff like that. And one of the reasons I think people use social media so much is that they want to be reassured that their life is going well. They put photos of them doing cool stuff, and so they want to be reassured that, hey, my life is cool. But the thing is, behind these social media things, people can create a digital persona of themselves, and they can. It's not really their real self. People only put the good things about themselves, because why would you put bad things online, bad things about your life? So there's only one side of a person you see on social media. So what are some resolutions to this? I think that, well, first off, you should try to limit the amount of time you spend online. Think of it as investing time. If you just take 10 minutes off social media each day, and the average person, by the way, spends 2 hours on social media each weekday. If you take 10 minutes off of that and put it to something productive, all right, by a month's time, you will have 5 hours which you have worked productively, and by a year's end, you will have had 60 hours which you put to good use. Because your life should not be experienced on a screen. It's out there waiting for you. And 50 years into the future, you're not going to look back and think about all the text messages and online chats you had when you're remembering your friendship with others. No, you're going to remember the time you spent together, the time that you laughed together, because that is what's meaningful in life. Thank you.